Hello everyone, it's Spursready96 here, and welcome to the 17th episode of the FIFA 18 Zenit St Petersburg career mode. We begin today's episode with the second leg of the Europa League quarterfinal against Napoli. As you can see there by the table, we won the reverse fixture 2-1 at their ground after being 1-0 down after a header from Marek Hamzik, but Coquelin levelled it before Alex Witsel headed in the winner from a corner kick. And yeah, Napoli fully focused. They know that they need to. It's going to be a very difficult job for them to try and win it there on our ground, as we have an almost an unprecedented record here at the Krastovsky Stadium, unbeaten so far. Coquelin is third in the goal-scoring charts in the Europa League with 6 goals, just one behind second place Alex Iwobi for Arsenal. If you haven't checked out the last episode, I suggest you do so, where we had a huge game in the Russian Premier League at home against FC Krasnodar that could effectively decide the title. Then, of course, we had the first leg away at SSC Napoli, and this is the team that played against Napoli in the first leg and will do so in the second leg. And then we hosted Anzi Macanella, who are like P10, 11 in the Russian Premier League. Important we get those points to extend our lead over Krasnodar and Lokomotiv Moscow in the Premier League. But we need to focus on this match, the European fixture here again at home against Napoli. As I said, we have an unbeaten home record, and the home fans will play a huge part in this. We need their support, and I'm sure they'll give us 100% of their support to make sure we could progress to Zenit St Petersburg's first semi-final since 2008, and of course the year 2008, that's when they won their first ever European trophy, the Europa League or the UEFA Cup against Rangers. We progressed on the third minute, off to a bright start here. Very creative start. Being patient with the ball now. Here's Paredes. Lee gives it to Kuzev. Now back to Paredes. Paredes is coming into the box. No, he's not. He twists and turns and takes a strike. That wasn't far away from Leonardo Paredes. He's been known in the past to score goals like that. Not just for Zenit St Petersburg, but the club, but other clubs as well he's played in the past. Now onto the 26th minute, Shatov gives it to Paredes. Paredes into the box and crosses to Coquelin! And Alexandra Coquelin has scored yet again. He has been in deadly form in recent matches. He has been scoring goal after goal after goal, not just in the Russian Premier League, but he's finally managing to carry that goal-scoring form into the Europa League knockout stages as well. Great cross from Paredes to find Coquelin in some space, and Coquelin with a nice volley on his right foot into the bottom left or right corner of the net, depending on which way you view it, you see it and view it. But Alexandra Coquelin has scored, and at the moment he's level on goals with Alex Iwobi's Arsenal's Alex Iwobi in the goal scoring charts. It's Zenit St Petersburg, Napoli 0. It's 3-1 in aggregate. On to the 44th minute, approaching the 45th. The keeper's given the ball away to get a goal kick, and Witsel managed to head it to Coquelin, who takes a strike on his left foot, and he's taken it in the added time of the first half, and Alexandra Coquelin scores yet again. It's 2 for him on the night. It's 2 for Zenit St Petersburg. It's 4-1 on aggregate. 2 Zenit St Petersburg is at the end of Napoli's European hopes this season. Well, as you can see, Coquelin just takes the ball after Witsel. The goalkeeper did a goal kick, Pepe Reina, and Witsel just managed to just head the ball to Coquelin. Very strong header, Witsel, heading ability he has, and gives it to Coquelin, and Coquelin strikes on his weak foot, and we're absolutely delighted that even on the weak foot, Coquelin can take those chances, and the form he's in doesn't surprise me. He's now got 8 goals in the Europa League, and Zenit St Petersburg lead 2-0 on the night. It's now 4-1 on aggregate. I can't see Napoli coming back from this, and there goes the half-time whistle. A huge blow to Napoli's hopes to concede yet another goal in the added time of the first half here. Of course, going 1-0 down here would be a huge task for them, but it was made even harder when Coquelin scored in the added time of the first half for Pepe Reina's goalkeeping mistake. It's 2-0 at half-time at that stage. On to the second half highlights, approaching the 53rd minute. Great through ball from Druzy to find Coquelin is taken on the defence, and it's 1-1 against Pepe Reina, and he's put it in, and Alexandra Coquelin has made history in his career. His first European hat-trick for Zenit St Petersburg. 3-0 now against Napoli, and it's 5-1 on aggregate. And that is surely good night to Napoli and their European hopes, and hello to the Europa League semi-final for Zenit St Petersburg. Just to manage our through ball passing has been fantastic in this career, and that was reflected once again. A fantastic partnership growing all the time between Sebastian Druzy and Alexandra Coquelin. and Cochrane finishes it on the right foot fantastically well, and he's now got 9 in Europa League, number 9 on his back, 9 goals in the Europa League. He is a goal-scoring machine at the moment, and it's Zenit St Petersburg 3, Napoli 0, with an aggregate score of 5-1 at that stage. On to the 69th minute now, building up from the back, Kuzev to Witzel. Now here's Druzy, another through ball towards Alexander Cochrane, and Cochrane's taken on the defence again, and takes a strike. He's done it again. It's exactly almost like an action replay to the third goal. It's 4-0 to Zenit St Petersburg against Napoli. It's 6-1 in aggregate, approaching 71 minutes. The game is far from finished, and Napoli are getting torn apart on the through ball passing, and with the strike, and a ferocious strike from Cochrane, exactly pretty much the same as the third goal. And now he's got 4 goals in this match. He scored 6 goals against FC UFA, against away FC UFA in the Russian Premier League. He could probably do something similar here against SSC Napoli in the Europa League. He's got 10 goals in the Europa League now. He should be surely at least close to the top of the goal scoring charts. It's 4-1-0 at that stage. And look at this, here goes Marcus Rui for Napoli, defender coming forward, and he's found Milik, and Milik drags it wide. That was a huge chance to, well, maybe get a consolation, but he's been very quiet in this game, hasn't done hardly anything to know truth, and we have a goal kick resulting from that. And look at that, he's passed it to Parades. Cochrane has passed it to Shatov. Shatov running into the box, and he's got support from the players. And Druzy has scored 5-0 against Napoli. Napoli are getting thrashed and trashed in the Europa League second leg, quarter-final second leg. 5-0 to Zenit St Petersburg, 7-1 on aggregate. Druzy now scores a goal in the Europa League once again, and he deserves it. He's been doing some good assists and lovely through ball passes to Cochrane, who of course has scored 4 goals. But Druzy now is on the score sheet, and Zenit St Petersburg are on the verge of sending Napoli's fans home in embarrassment. It's Sebastian Druzy's 5th goal in the Europa League. It's Zenit St Petersburg 5, Napoli 0, and Zenit St Petersburg lead 7-1 on aggregate. That is a shambolic defensive display for Napoli in this tie, let alone this game. And, the tie, let alone this game. And here goes the 89th minute now, and Napoli are coming forward here. Marek Hamzik gives it to Insignia. Insignia running into the box and making mistakes, or I'm making mistakes. Hazard, of course, used to play for them, and has given it to Milik, and Milik has scored. And Napoli at least will travel home and will exit the Europa League with at least a goal, and Milik celebrates rather stupidly, really. No need to celebrate when you're 5-0 down, when you're 5-1 down still. And, well, Napoli have a goal back, and it's at least something to take home on their travels. The most pointless of consolation goals for Napoli in the Europa League. But Anhons Areola will be extremely frustrated not to get a clean sheet after all the hard work we put in. Napoli at last break us down, and at the time I was quite annoyed, really. We dominated them, and they got a goal back, and, a bit annoyed. But there we go. There is the full-time whistle, and Zenit St Petersburg are into their first European semi-final since 2008. Cochrane takes the match ball. He had 6 shots, and 4 of them were goals. What a phenomenal display for Alexander Cochrane. Has put in his best European performance of the season, no doubt. Milik had probably one of his worst European performances of his career. And Alexander Cochrane marches off with the match ball, with the jubilation of fans around him in the stadium. It's 5-1 to Zenit St Petersburg on the night, 7-2 on aggregate. Unbelievable. We return and we will continue the episode at the Krastovsky Stadium, where we will be hosting FC UFA in the Russian Cup semi-final. As you can see, the other fixture is holders Lokomotiv Moscow against Rubin Kazan. This is a huge fixture, because if we win this match, we will be in our first final of the career mode. Well, confirmed our place in the Russian Cup final of the career mode. And as you can see there, we take a gamble and put on the secondary team, because of course, if you haven't checked out, I think it was episode 15, we demolished FC UFA away from home, and I thought, let's give the secondary team a chance to see what they can do, because of course we got to take we can't let the first team play every single important game, otherwise they're not going to, second team aren't going to get chances here. And Ahmed Hassan is coming forward in the 14th minute and has been taken down, and it's a penalty to Zenit St Petersburg, and FC UFA have got off to the worst start. Yellow card for their captain Denis Tumasan, and Zenit St Petersburg have a chance to score their first goal in the semi-final from the spot kick. No doubt a penalty brings him down. Didn't get the ball one bit. We might touch the ball, but there you go. It is a penalty for Zenit St Petersburg. We've had a few penalties in the past. Ekrin, of course, who scored the penalty to take us through to the semi-final against Arsenal in extra time. Here he comes. He takes it. And Zenit St Petersburg lead in the Russian Cup semi-final at the Kostovsky Stadium. And the stadium goes crazy. 1-0 against FC UFA just past 15 minutes. And the captain, Alexander Ekrin, shows nerves of steel for the second Russian Cup fixture in a row, that he can take the biggest penalties in the biggest games. And he just goes almost straight down the middle, slightly to the right. The keeper didn't bother moving, really. He just started lunged, made one or two steps to the right, but didn't bother diving at all. And we take the lead past 15 minutes, and could this be another start of a demolition of FC UFA? Alexander Ekrin has got his second goal in the Russian Cup. Both of them, of course, in the penalty spot. It's 1-0 against FC UFA. We go on to the 17th minute now. Not long. Here's Spopkansky. Now here's Sly. Now in towards Diego. Oh, FC have levelled it straight away from the restart. And Diego Lopez has levelled the game for FC UFA. We might not be in for a demolition game. We might not have a game similar to the away game in the league where we thrashed them 6-0. This could be a very tight contest in the Russian Cup. FC UFA have levelled it immediately from Diego Lopez. Good pass from Slime towards Diego Lopez, and somehow he managed to get a strike between there's three defenders around him, and they just didn't deal with him. Very disappointed. Lodgkin couldn't keep it, couldn't save to do anything about it, and he celebrates in front of the cameras, Diego Lopez, and he's brought the tie and in this game level. Well, he's brought the game level in this tie. There we go. It's 1-1 past 19 minutes. What an amazing response that was from FC UFA straight away. And there goes the half-time whistle. And wow, I was very surprised that FC UFA levelled that quickly. What a response from them that was. After we took the lead for a penalty that Alexandra Ekrin converted, I thought we would go on and walk this game really against FC UFA after past results against them. But it's not proven to be so far. It's been a tight contest in the Russian Cup semi-final, and it's Zenit St Petersburg 1, FC UFA 1. And we're going to look at the other semi-final, where the holders Lokomotiv Moscow are being held 0-0 by their opponents Rubin Kazan. We come on to the second half highlights, just starting the second half actually. And here's Ahmed Hassan. Already we're starting on the front foot, positive, just absolutely going for their defence, putting pressure on them almost immediately from the off. Ekrin running into it, and what a pass to Polos! Oh, what a pass from the captain, Alexandra Ekrin, and Polos converted it magnificently from the pass of Alexandra Ekrin. And no doubt Alexandra Ekrin is the first player to go and celebrate with Polos. What a pass that was. Probably one of the passes of the career mode. What a pass that was. Took at least 4 to 5 players out the game. Look at that. What a pass. And what a finish from Polos too. Strokes it beautifully into the net. Just past the keeper. First time. And what a master. Wow. What a goal that was. Beautifully created and beautifully converted. What a goal that is. Absolutely, I'm stunned really. And Dmitry Polos has his first goal in the Russian Cup. And Zenit St Petersburg are back in front in the Russian Cup semi-final against FC UFA. We're approaching towards the 58th minute. Panyakov has done a great through ball towards Polos. And Polos is having a good game so far. And he's crossed it towards Hassan. And it's in. It's 3-1 now to Zenit St Petersburg against FC UFA. Ahmed Hassan has scored a goal that he hasn't had a goal in a little while. I don't know how long exactly, but it's been a bit of a while since he last scored. That will give him some huge confidence. And we now have a 2-goal cushion for FC UFA. And the fans are in jubilation, because that could probably mean we will be going through to the Russian Cup final. What a great cross from Polos to find Ahmed Hassan onside as well. and Ahmed Hassan managed to head it into the net. We extend our lead in this match, and it's set a more realistic chance of getting through to the Russian Cup final. Ahmed Hassan's second goal in the Russian Cup, and apologies if I said it was his first. It's 3-1 at that stage. We come on to the 77th minute now, and Sly comes forward and gives it to Farfran, I think it was, and the Mamana had a chance and he's cleared it, and Polos, chaos at the back. I don't know who's got it. Chernov has given it. They've got the ball, and now Jimmy has a chance, and FC UFA are back in the game after chaos, absolute madness in the box, just trying to clear our lines really, and FC UFA just wouldn't give up with that opportunity, and FC UFA are back in the tie all of a sudden, and we're just desperate to clear our lines, and Jokic, I think is how you say his name, well, he couldn't miss from there really. Acres of space in the box on his left foot, and the keeper couldn't save that one either. And FC UFA have narrowed the gap down to just one, and we're disappointed with that because our defence and myself, of course I was playing, well, I panicked really, and FC UFA have taken that opportunity, and Borjan Jokic means it was 3-2, but it's not enough, and Zenit St Petersburg are into the Russian Cup final. A fantastic achievement from the players, fantastic effort from the secondary team who've played the last two knockout rounds, extra time win away at Arsenal Tula, and a win here in in front of our home fans in the Russian Cup semi-final. Dmitry Polos was man of the match. Beautiful goal made from Alexandra Ekrin, who of course scored from the penalty spot to put us into the lead. And of course Polos provided the goal for Ahmed Hassan with a great cross. FC UFA didn't give up and put up a much stronger performance than I anticipated, but we do go through to the Russian Cup final. We win 3-2 against FC UFA. Absolutely fantastic. Delighted that we have gone through to the final with a chance of winning our first silverware of the season. And look at this, what a shock for holders. Lokomotiv Moscow are out of the Russian Cup. They lost 1-0 at home against Rubin Kazan, so it's going to be Zenit St Petersburg versus Rubin Kazan in the Russian Cup final. We'll put that to one side for now. We will concentrate on the Russian League, where we have Russian Premier League, where we have a huge home fixture against CSKA Moscow. Of course, the last time we faced CSKA Moscow, we managed to snatch a dramatic draw at their pace in the dying seconds after they went 1-0 up with on the 82nd minute or something. They were really hard to play against at their place. We managed to snatch a draw, and of course to this stage we're still unbeaten, not just in the Russian Premier League or the Russian Cup, but also the entire career mode, which is fantastic, apart from the pre-season loss away at Leicester City. As you can see, we are first with 61 points. Krasnodar have fallen to third after 2 defeats from Lokomotiv Moscow and CSKA Moscow. So it means that Krasnodar are out of the title race. Lokomotiv Moscow are now the only team to mathematically challenge us or beat us to the Russian Premier League. Their maximum points is 62 points. We have, I think it was 61 points? 61 points. So if we draw against CSKA Moscow or win, we will be confirmed as the Russian champions with 4 games to spare, which will be an incredible achievement. But CSKA Moscow are a tough team to play against, as I discovered in the away leg, hence why we're bringing on the first team for this title deciding day, potentially. So, yeah, going to be a huge fixture in the crowd with a bit of tension around the ground here, as they know that a draw, if we avoid defeat against CSKA Moscow, who of course have such a strong squad, we will be the Russian Premier League champions for the first time since 2016. A long wait for them. Could this be the day, could this be the game we finally win the Russian Premier League? And that's the end of the first half. It's been a very tense, tight game. I was very nervous about doing this game because I knew what was at stake if we avoided defeat. That we would wrap up the Russian Premier League after Krasnodar made errors. But it was a very tight, tense game. It was hard to make chances from either team, really. Either team struggled to make chances because both defences were pretty good. And half-time at the Krasnodar Stadium, it was Zenit St Petersburg 0, CSKA Moscow 0. We come on to the second half highlights, and this is one of the very rare chances to get forward and have a chance here. Rugoni runs into the box. Akinfeev clears it. Kokorin! Akinfeev saves. Comfortable save from him. On to the 63rd minute now. Milanov is dancing his way into the box here, and he's going to give it across towards Vitono, and he's hit the crossbar, and Rugoni clears his lines. Druzy now has passed it to Satov, and Milnov has managed to get the ball back here. Sorry if my Facebook went off. Drasikov is going to leave it, and Hasaj clears his lines again. CSKA Moscow is starting to grow into the second half and cause us a bit of problems here. Now, forget who that is, but here goes Alexander Golovin. Parades intercepts. Witzel's got the ball and is charging at the opposition's defence. Berezutski's got the ball back. Now back to Witzel. Now back to Druzy. Now Druzy crosses to Cochran. Cochran's got the ball, twists and turns to give it to Shatov. Druzy! He's put it wide. He's put it wide. What an opportunity for Sebastian Druzy to wrap up the title for Zenit St Petersburg in our title race with Lokomotiv Moscow. What a chance that was. We're approaching the 86th minute. CSKA Moscow have a corner. Zenov takes. Berezutski! Good save from Areola. Huge save for Areola. We need to preserve this clean sheet. We've just got to keep our heads together and survive the pressure that CSKA Moscow putting on their Areola with a crucial save there, just palming it over the bar with his right glove. And Rigoni clears his lines. Golovin's hit the post. Berezutski's cleared his lines. Vitoni's at the defence and it's gone in. And Vitoni has scored. Just coming past the 88th minute. And CSKA Moscow have taken the lead against Zenit St Petersburg on this huge day in the Russian Premier League. And could this be at long last? And the fans, the away fans, could know it as well. This could be the game that CSKA Moscow will become the first team to defeat Zenit St Petersburg in the career mode and will at last end our 100% unbeaten streak at the Krasnovsky Stadium. And CSKA Moscow have given their rivals Lokomotiv Moscow a huge chance to close the gap in the Russian Premier League title race, if you could call it a race. And Zenit St Petersburg are 1-0 down, and there it is. Zenit St Petersburg have lost. The winning the unbeaten streak is over. Zenit St Petersburg are defeated at last at their home ground, and the players are absolutely gutted. This was the game in which we could wrap up the title. We could wrap up the title, but it has not proven to be the case. Vitoni with a last gasp strike from a corner kick in the 89th, 88th minute. And CSKA Moscow have beaten us 1-0 at the Krasnovsky Stadium, the first team to do that. And yeah, major disappointment. And look at the Russian Premier League. We have 61 points still. We have 18 wins, 7 draws, 1 defeat, 50 goals scored, the best offensive record in the league, and the best defensive record in the league with 13 goals conceded. But we have a game in hand over our main rivals, Lokomotiv Moscow. They are second with 53 points. Realistically, the points total they can get is 62, barring their and of course goal difference as well. So if they have a better goal difference than us in the last 3 matches they have to play, and we have an awful run to the end of the season, awful run to finish the season, then Lokomotiv Moscow could pretty much snatch the title, which would be absolutely gutting because they've been top of the league since the second league game of the entire season. So yeah, Krasnodar have blown the title race. They've been our closest rivals for a long time. They have blown it with defeats. Home against CSKA Moscow and away at Lokomotiv Moscow, or the other way around. And they are third now with 51 points. They're out of the title race, 10 points behind with 3 games to go. They're out of it. CSKA Moscow are up to 4th now with 49 points, 2 points ahead of Spartak Moscow, who are 5th with 47 points, trying to get into the Champions League spot. Dynamo Moscow are 6th with 47 points. With 40 points, sorry. FC UFA are down to 5th with 35 points. Down to 7th with 35 points, same points as 8th placed Rubin Kazan, and 9th to 10th is Anzi Makanella and FC Tosno and Anzi Makanella, who are on 32 points. What is going on? FC SK Khabarovsky are Donstead last year with 17 points. They only just a point or two. They're on the verge of relegation. If the other teams get I think it's 25 points, they will go out. They will be relegated to the second tier of Russian League football if that was in the game. So yeah, let's have a look at the Champions League, which I haven't been showing you. Tottenham Hotspur did beat Bayern Munich 4-3 on aggregates, and the German champions go out. Manchester United managed to beat Liverpool 5-4 on penalties after a 2-2 aggregate draw. And other games, Monaco lost to Borussia Dortmund on aggregate, either for a penalty shootout or an aggregate score, as they drew 3-3 with Borussia Dortmund. Manchester City narrowly beat Paris Saint-Germain 3-2, so PSG still can't get into the semi-finals of the Champions League. And in the semi-finals of the Champions League, Borussia Dortmund, the German team, lost 2-1 in the first leg against English team Manchester City, and Manchester United are 2-1 up sadly against Tottenham Hotspur in an all-English semi-final. So yeah, and the next question is, who will we face in the Europa League? And look who we've got. Zenit St Petersburg will play against the disgraced Champions League holders and surely the favourites, Real Madrid. That is a huge episode. You've got to watch the next one, that is for sure, with Real Madrid. We're playing against them. That is going to be crazy. And the other semi-final is French side Olympique Lyonnais will be hosting Premier League side Arsenal, who did beat AC Milan 1-0 in the end. So wow, that is going to be a huge episode. And let's look at the preview for the next episode. We will begin the first leg of the Europa League semi-final away at the Santiago Bernabeu against Real Madrid, and that's going to be a huge game. Then we're away in the Russian Premier League for our biggest game yet. We draw or win away at Lokomotiv Moscow, we will be confirmed as the Russian Premier League champions. And then we conclude the episode with an away game against struggling Arsenal Tula, which could also decide the relegation of SKA Khabarovsk. So see you next time for the next episode. Take care.